All right, and welcome back to CAC TV in the morning. And if you're joining us live right now, remember we are streaming live on Facebook at CAC TV Kenya and YouTube at CAC TV Kenya. And we continue with our program this morning. And as we always do on our weekly segment of entrepreneurship, we do different things. But this week, I want us to switch gears and talk on matters that aid you to be able to get into a position that you can be able, to proceed and do your businesses and everything as you want. And that is we talk about bridging the gap on the justice system. And I will welcome my guest in studio. On my near right is Susan Cherono from Eseriani, and we'll be talking about the same in regards to the Legal Awareness Week, and which seeks to bridge the gap in getting justice. And the far right is Benedict Oduor, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Welcome to the program this morning on CAC TV. And remember, you can send in your feedback so that we can be sampling in as we continue with this program. And just to begin this discussion and to base the discussion is that the reason you're here is because of the Legal Aid Activation Program that is set to happen, educating the people on different aspects of justice. That is bridging the gap for people to be able to understand how they can get justice, how they can be able to be part and parcel of this particular process. I just want to begin with you, Benedict Oduor. What should we understand about the Legal Activation Program?
So first I'd like to appreciate CAC TV for this opportunity. Giving us the platform to come and, highlight our plight on what we undertake as Latewa CBO in collaboration with like-minded organizations like Eseriani Place. So Latewa CBO is a duly registered youth-led organization that focuses on community-driven interventions to solve day-to-day societal challenges facing the local community members. We understand that for example, South B, where Latewa CB operates, South B, we understand that South B is in the industrial area, which is a highly industrialized place. So with high industrializations comes a lot of disparities in the economic and social field. So Latewa CBO comes to, works at the intersection with other stakeholders, what we call a multi-sectoral approach. So multi-sectoral approach meaning bringing different players in the playing field. For example, like-minded organizations like Eseriani, we have corporates, we have tertiary institutions, we have political representatives, we have embassies and high commissions. So the purpose of the legal aid activation, because under the ambit of the activities we undertake, we have social justice initiatives. We have environment conservation and waste management. We have water sanitation and hygiene for equity. So we have a raft of activities under Latewa CBO. So our aim with the Legal Aid Activation Program, it's going to act as a baseline or the bedrock now for subsequent activities. Because you all understand by activation, let's say for example you go by a Safaricom line or a network operator line. It can be Telcom, it can be Safaricom, Airtel. So by activating, meaning you register it officially so that you can start, working, communicating with the line. So by the activation, it's more of creating awareness and sensitization to local community members to know that access to justice is a very fundamental right that is close and dear to the people. So through the legal aid activation and in collaboration with like-minded stakeholders, we have three main thematic areas we are seeking to work on. We have climate action, justice policy. We have inclusivity and non-discrimination. So that is where Eseriani Place is going to fall in, because most of their mandate or programs are centered on women empowerment, and not just women. They also deal with teenage mothers, young school-going girls. So we have climate action, justice policy, inclusivity and non-discrimination. Then lastly, we have democratic governance. So all these topics shall be in relation to bridging the gap in access to justice, for the marginalized and special groups in Kenya.
And just to get to understand the picture, because as well the gap in getting justice is one that affects both people, those in entrepreneurship, the economic aspect of it, and the social aspect of it. In that legal aid activation program, what are some of the things that people expect to understand, even as the people that are watching and want to also understand the legal aid activation program? What things and rather would they want to know?
So the legal aid activation program, our theme is bridging the gap in access to justice between the marginalized and special groups. So under that we have three main topics: climate action, justice, inclusivity, and democratic governance. So under climate action, justice, we are going to canvass what we call climate adaptation in relation to socio-economic development. We find that our communities, our constitution provides for public participation, which is a very fundamental concept of policy formulation, decision making, coming up with new legislative proposals to work on for public involvement. So under climate action justice, we are trying to sensitize the community so that they are aware of the role they have to play in terms of climate adaptation. So with climate adaptation comes waste management systems, because under our activities we also train the young teenage mothers and school-going girls in collaboration with the Seriani Place. So through that, people are able to understand sustainable methods of waste management. So it can be either through plastic recycling, making of copyrighted art pieces through discarded clothing garments. So under the climate adaptation aspect, those are some of the areas we seek to look at. Under the inclusivity and non-discrimination topic, we seek to have the conversation around equal access to opportunities. So equal access to opportunities is a multifaceted area. It can be access to opportunities in technology, access to decision-making opportunities, and other like-minded areas under the same topic. Then finally, under democratic governance, we seek to have the public enlightened to know their role, especially this being an election year. They have a role to play. So part of the civic education process, we have, educating the local communities on how exactly they're supposed to be involved in the election matter through exercising their right to vote, taking part in public legislation forums to come up with legislative proposals. So in Kenya, it doesn't necessarily have to be, we have several avenues for channeling drafting of legislative proposals, several avenues where the public can be involved in the lawmaking process. So it can be through an elected representative, either an MCA, an MP, or it can be through tabling the parliament directly, because that's also a provision in our constitution. You can come up with a legislative proposal, then you petition the speaker directly, highlighting the different areas you'd like them to come on board. Okay. So through the training, we seek to have people aware, sensitized, then now having the legal background, now coming with the advocacy perspective, coming up with policy formulations to make sure that the conversation is more of a long-term process than just a one-time affair, as it has been. And
you having laid out that foundation, I just want to bring in Susan Cherono, and where she comes in with the Seriani Place in regards to being part of the awareness and the sensitization of bridging the justice gap. And you talked about Seriani being an empowerment oriented organization, and putting in programs that empower mostly women, if I get that right. Just to put it into perspective, it's a legal aid activation program, and you as a Seriani, as you come into that particular program, what is some of the factors that you will be seeking, or rather that you intend to make people understand?
Thank you so much. First of all, we don't only have women, we have children.
Okay.
Our organization is about orphan, vulnerable children and teenage mothers and women. So we empower them, we empower the children. Many of these children have gone through some sort of abuse. We usually take steps, like to rescue some that need to be rescued. We have women who have gone through gender-based violence and they need justice. We have women who have been fired from their workplace without proper guidelines. So the reason why we are in this is because for us we have so many injustices that have happened in the slums, and we would want them to know that they can get justice for the injustices happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's quite a very inclusive program. I understand as well, because again that justice gap is one that is very important if indeed we have to have a fair social and economic society. And in regards to the empowerment of women and also coming in to be able to be part and parcel of the legal aid, is someone who perhaps would be watching and wondering right now if I have to get into to come to this aid program, I need to understand different aspects. Yeah. So you talked about measuring with the women and children. Yeah. So in that particular program, what will you be measuring on that anybody who is watching and perhaps feel that falls in their place, that they will be able to come and be able to grasp their understanding of bridging that gap?
Okay, maybe I can just add a bit and he'll continue. For us, our major issues are rape. There's so much rape, and some of these teenage mothers need justice for what has happened to them. They need support because they come from really poor backgrounds that right now they are struggling to take care of the child. And if they can get justice for these girls, then they can be able to go back to school and restore their dreams. If we are able to get justice for these girls, they're able to live a better life, and there's closure. For us, for our main aim in Eseriani is about the mental health of everyone. Mm-hmm. So if you're broken, if there's no closure for you for what happened, then you grow up to be an adult who's messed up. If we don't make those interventions for these girls, for these children who have gone through abuse, even through the hands of their parents, then that's why we are finding broken children doing all sorts of things and burning schools, killing, stealing. So for us, like part of the things we do at Eseriani is that we have workshops for children every holiday. We have the trainings for the girls and for the women and empowerment. We are trying to make these people feel like they do belong. Mm-hmm. And they are people, they also are Kenyans, and they also deserve the best of their lives. And if we are able first to sort all the issues that they've been doing, they've been going through. For example, I had a lady who was dismissed from work, and the employer, she was a nanny, the employer took her to hospital and did the tests without her consent, without knowing what exactly she was looking for. She just told her, a nanny needs to be checked for health and cholera and all that. But they were more like the HIV testing. So when they found out her status, she fired her immediately. You see, without the process that now this and that. So if justice can happen for such women, because they have children to take care of. Now she's under our program, we have to feed her. But if someone is hardworking and they want to feed her family, being fed now, it is really also brings down their esteem. Mm-hmm. So we really want justice our people. Yeah.
So, like for Eseriani, do you now proceed to initiate the legal as perspective of such victims, and seeking justice for them, or for you just take care of them?
We take care of them, but we want to take that next step. That's why we are partnering with the LATEWA and other organizations, because we feel like we are fighting a battle alone. And I am not a legal representative. Why not partner with people who know how to go about it? And when they come for this the workshop, they will learn more, that I can get help from this one, I can help from this organization, and my issues will be sorted. Sometimes they just feel like they are helpless, that there's no one who is supporting them. They feel alone, that even if, like most of their cases, they reach to the chief level, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And okay, would you want to complete?
Yeah, they go to the chief, and the chief doesn't have the legal representation, or doesn't know from there what. So they try and sort it. So if a child has been raped and the victim and the molester is there, they try and see how can we negotiate. I had a case where a landlord raped a girl because the father has not paid rent. And when they went to the chief, the landlord said, "Have you paid rent?" It's like it's something so petty, and there is need for that child's justice, for someone to fight for her. So that's why this will be very good, because if they know, if the few who will come know, then they'll go spread the word that there is help out there. You just don't have to suffer alone. Yeah.
Okay. And Odor, she's talked about partnering with legal-oriented organizations such as the one that you are leading,
LATEWA,
as well, because she talks about the quest for justice being one that is very difficult, and if you are alone, especially for an organization that does not have the legal aspect of it, like the Eseriani, and that is where you come in. But now, as well, even as you come in as well, you understand that is a gap that you, or rather a bridge that you have to cross in getting justice for such victims, or rather in seeking justice for them. So for LATEWA, in partnering with such communities, the legal aspect of it, because you have to seek justice for these people, be it the such rape cases, dismissed workers from jobs, those that are businesses have been affected by this and that. As for the LATEWA, legal organization, where do you come in, and where do you pick it from now for you to be able to ensure that we bridge this gap and get justice to such organizations that bring forward victims of illegalities?
So, as I had said earlier, LATEWA seeks to bridge this gap through what we call a multi-sectoral approach. So through multi-sectoral approach, we bring on board different players, because access to justice is not just a one-person affair.
Sure.
It's a collective effort. So we seek to partner with stakeholders in the corporate field. We have medical practitioners, we have media like now CAC TV. We'd like to acknowledge you and thank you for that. We have tertiary institutions, Strathmore, University of Nairobi, political representatives, Office of the Women Representative of Nairobi. We have local administration guided by the county commissioners, the chiefs. So LATEWA is just at the intersection. So in our quest to bridge this gap, we have to be at the intersection. So when we are at the intersection, we are able to have access to all these stakeholders. So we understand that legal representation is not just about going to court. Our constitution also provides for alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. So as Susan has said, we have pressing issues like rape, defilement. So in our slum areas and the vulnerable communities, these are some of the most pressing issues. Rape, defilement. So cases like rape and defilement do not warrant an alternative dispute resolution mechanism. because there are things that infringe on the rights of the children directly under our Children's Act. So our Children's Act of 2005 provides that the rights of the children need to be interpreted in a more holistic approach with regard to the best interest of the child in whatever prevailing circumstance that is going. So LATEWA comes in through legal representation. It can be direct, because the Children's Act, Article 25, provides for direct legal representation of these children. Or it can also be through alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, because we find that our judicial system is swamped up by backlog of cases. The resources are limited. So depending on the pressing issue, we can either do direct legal representation, or if it's a matter that warrants for alternative dispute resolution, we also pursue that field. Yeah, yeah.
And even as, because I also understand our minutes are rushing, just to, perhaps have the concluding part of it.
Yes.
And to understand the legal aid program week. For how long will the aid program be going? And for anyone who wants to come to that aid, what would they need, or how would they be able to be part of it?
So the legal aid program is scheduled to take place from Monday next week, 16th to 23rd, excluding the weekends. So it will be 16th to 20th, that's Monday to Friday. Then the final day will be on Monday 23rd. So that is a period of 6 days. So since we have 3 topics, it will be broken down to 2 topics per day. I mean 2 days for every topic. So the first 2 days we'll be talking about climate action justice and the plate of climate adaptation in relation to socio-economic development. Then the other 2 days we'll talk about inclusivity and non-discrimination. We'll understand that our Constitution expressly provides for inclusivity and non-discrimination regardless of age, sex, gender, marital status, ethnicity. So now that's where the Eseriani place is going to come in, due to their diverse experience in working with children, women, teenage mothers. So we are seeking to have stakeholders who possess the requisite expertise in the different topics. So the training will take place at Tana and Athi River Development Authority Resource Center. It's located along Dundori Road, just here in South B, right next to the Daisies and Sharkleaf headquarters. Yeah. So we also have our till number. I'll check and confirm it. So people can support through financial and logistical support. So financial can be through direct donations to, fund some of the training requirements. We also have logistical support through donations of books. We do book drives, sanitary pad drives, blood donation drives. So it's a whole wide area. So anyone wishing to take part can, come for that particular day. They can also register as members of LATEWA or Eseriani. Through that, we also offer internship programs. Now that's where the tertiary institutions come in, trying to instill the culture of giving back at an early age through our tertiary institution, so that any person wishing to get involved is very welcome to take part in the project. Okay. Yeah.
And for you, Susan, as you also conclude, what would be your, remark for that legal aid program, and also as being part of the Eseriani and focusing on your key areas? What would you tell the people that are watching you?
Okay, thank you. For the week, it will be very beneficial for everyone. Even if not only the people that we cater for, even for people out there to come and interact with people who are less fortunate, because sometimes people think they think that these people are lazy. They think that these people they don't want to work. That's why they are living in the slums. So sometimes when you interact and you listen to them and you talk to them, you find out that they are going through issues. Like some, you'll find that it's just a medical case that went bad, a botched medical case, and no one is fighting for them. Maybe a doctor will come in and say, well, I can assist to treat that person. Or if you find like basically the injustices that happen, someone else can give someone a job. So it's not only for those people who we cater for that this workshop can work for. It can work for everybody, and to learn more. Even not everybody knows about how to go about legally things. Yeah, so it will be beneficial to everyone, and that also interaction will also benefit, because we really need people to come in and just make. For us in Arteseriani, we really work towards inclusivity, acceptance. Whatever you're going through, whether you're sick, you're mad or anything, we work towards including everybody and making everybody feel that they belong to this Kenya, they belong to this world, they belong to the one God we believe in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for having to enlighten us about the legal aid program, activation program week. I would say week because it goes for 6 days, and hopefully that it will be of great impact to the people that will be able to attend, and it's open for anybody, right? So it's if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an employee, you feel aggrieved, you can be able to attend and be able to understand what you need to know for you to get the justice that you deserve. And that is where we wind up this particular session. Thank you so much for making time this morning to come and elaborate and also, bring the aspect and the legal aspect, the community-based aspect of it. Thank you so much, Benedict.